When am I supposed to find time to study as a doctor? This is one of the most common questions residents and attendings ask as they think about preparing for boards. Where is the time? If you're functioning well as a physician, working full time, and still struggling to prepare for boards, this is not a motivation issue. It really is a systems issue. But today I'm going to give you 5 principles I see actually help physicians prepare while they're maintaining their careers without burning out or questioning their competence. Hi, I'm Dr. Bianca Bush, psychiatrist, coach, educator, and encourager. I work with medical students, residents, and physicians who are clinically capable but feel stalled by high stakes exams. The first principle is energy matters more than time. Board preparation works best when it's scheduled around your cognitive energy, not random gaps in your calendar. A lot of physicians tell me, I had time to study, but that time was late at night after a full clinic day when their brain was already depleted. Studying in that state isn't discipline, it's just exhaustion. Short, high quality blocks, focused study consistently outperform long sessions where you're pushing through mental fatigue. So, your best thinking time is when you're alert, focused, and less emotionally taxed. And that matters far more than the total number of hours that you log. So, this time might be at the start of your day, and that's probably not possible for everyone, but it could also be after a quick nap or rest later in the day. Boards don't require more hours, they require access. And access comes from working with your nervous system and your energy, not against it. If this idea of working with your energy instead of against it is landing with you, I have a holistic Notion template that helps you plan your board prep with your high energy windows in mind. It's practical, not overwhelming, and it's linked below. So you don't need to use it perfectly, but it's a way to make the invisible visible. The second principle is you don't need to cover everything to pass. One of the most common traps I see physicians fall into during board prep is overstudying. We have made it this far because we're good students, and that a lot of the times meant getting an A++, maybe even having a GPA that was beyond just a 4.0. So studying everything with precision feels responsible, but in reality, overstudying increases anxiety, actually reduces retention. When your brain is overloaded, it stops distinguishing what's essential from what's optional. Effective board preparation is selective. It focuses on your weak domains, board relevant patterns. I'll say it again, on board relevant patterns and on content that shows up again and again on that exam. That means letting some material go on purpose. I know it feels uncomfortable, but that is important. Strategic omission is not negligence, it's expertise. Passing is not the same as mastery, and boards are designed to assess whether you meet a threshold under specific constraints, not whether you know everything. Principle number 3. Reduce friction before you add more effort. Most physicians respond to board stress by trying to push harder, study longer, stay up later, squeeze in prep into your already full days. But very often the problem isn't effort, it's friction. Decision fatigue quietly drains the same mental energy you need to study. Every time you decide when to study, what to study, or whether to keep going, you're spending cognitive resources before you even begin. That's why pre-deciding matters. Decide in advance when you're going to study. Decide in advance what you're going to study, lay it out, and decide in advance when you're going to stop. For many physicians, this also means temporarily pausing or outsourcing non-essential demands. Not forever, just long enough to protect your energy during this season. Less friction beats more force. If this resonates and you're realizing how much friction you're carrying, I also have a video called 12 Study Supports that actually free up time for boards. It walks you through both high and low cost supports busy physicians actually use. You don't need all 20, sometimes one or two changes are enough. The fourth principle is psychological safety. Psychological safety matters. Performance drops when your nervous system is in threat mode. And for many physicians, boards don't just feel like an exam, they activate identity level pressure. Years of training, sacrifice, and professional identity can suddenly feel like they're on the line. And when this happens, shame and self judgment quietly move in. Those states don't motivate performance, they block retrieval. The information is still there, but under threat, your brain can't access it efficiently. Psychological safety restores access to knowledge you already have. You can't perform under threat, even when you're capable. The fifth principle is this: separate your clinical competence from exam mechanics. Boards are designed to measure test execution under specific conditions. They're not measuring your worth, your intelligence, or your ability to practice medicine. Struggling with this process or needing more than one attempt does not erase years of training, experience, or clinical competence. Many highly capable physicians require multiple attempts. And that reality is far more common than most people talk about. Trust me, I have spoken with many physicians, many who you don't even know. They're attendings, they're in leadership roles who haven't passed this exam. When your identity becomes fused with the outcome of the exam, anxiety increases and access decreases. Separating who you are as a physician from how you perform on a standardized test is protective. This exam assesses performance under constraints, not your value. I want to offer you a brief exercise you can try right now. You don't need to close your eyes or do anything dramatic, just listen. Step one, we're going to identify the thought. Think of a thought that tends to show up as boards approach. Something like, if I don't pass, it means I'm not good enough, or it means I'm not a good doctor, or this exam really is going to prove to people who I am. Just notice that sentence, not whether or not it's true or false. Step two, create some distance from that thought. Now gently add this phrase to the beginning of that sentence. I'm noticing the thought that. So instead of I'm not good enough, it becomes I'm noticing the thought that I'm not good enough, right? Does that make sense? We're noticing the thought. Notice what shifts, even slightly, when that thought becomes something you're observing rather than something you are. Step three, name the function, not the content. That isn't there to tell you the truth. It's there because your brain is trying to protect you from threat. So you can acknowledge it without obeying it, right? I'm noticing the thought that I'm not good enough. That thought is here. It's trying to protect me, but it's really not. But it's just a thought. Step four, re-anchor an identity. I want you to quietly remind yourself, I am clinically competent, I'm an excellent physician, and I'm having a stressful thought about the exam. So we're re-anchoring, we're bringing ourselves back into who we actually are. All right. So thoughts can feel loud and convincing when you're under pressure, but they don't get to decide your value or your next move. Thank you for joining me in that exercise. Come back to it. It can be very powerful. We've reviewed the 5 principles. I've given you a quick exercise. Most physicians don't need to figure out how to hustle harder. They need the permission to prepare for this exam differently. If you notice that as boards approach, you're feeling worried, keyed up, or stuck in your head, I have a course called Test Anxiety No More. It includes about 4 hours of content. That's single speed. You can even double speed it, get through in 2 hours. There's a private community. There's an affirmation series. All of these things are designed to help you to get support, to feel encouraged. And if this is something that you think might be helpful, it's designed specifically for physicians. You can access it without having to make a big announcement. It's there for you. I'll link it below. I'm Dr. Bianca Bush, board certified psychiatrist, coach, educator, encourager. I am cheering you on as you tackle this next step. Just remember, I believe in you. I know you're a great doc, and I will see you the next time.